If the customer complains of water in the soft top compartment or in the boot, you should bring the water bag under the magnifying glass. However, before you set to work, connect the battery to the battery charger. Both rear sides of the vehicle are your work area. Therefore, cover the painted side parts of the car with a suitable cover to prevent damage to the surface. Now you can open the top to see where the damage is. The water bag is immediately visible when you put up the rear part of the top with the rear window vertically. The tear can be seen easily. Before you start, however, fasten both flaps of the rear cover, otherwise they could get caught. So on the other side, the screw must be unscrewed. Afterwards, the cloth covering can be pulled carefully from the frame. Please pay attention to clean hands, as the roof liner is hard to get clean again. Now the screws of the rear window are visible, and you can start to unscrew all. Fastened with rivets. Use a screwdriver and beat the rivet carefully out. At another place, the top is fastened to the frame with a rivet and a flap. To remove the rivets in the frame of the water bag, use the assembly point. In the fold of the water bag is the plastic strip that juts out. While removing the rivet in this strip, it will probably be destroyed, but don't worry, you already have the spare part. Another piece of fabric tape must go. Here is a tension cable that hangs on the frame. Unclip this. The side of the top on the frame is taped and simply pull this away. The top must also be disconnected from the B column. Before you begin, fold the top in a vertical position. In the frame connection of the water bag there's a plastic strip. Pull this out now. Fold the fabric top upwards to see what awaits you next. Yes, you've seen it. In the internal frame are 3 rivets which hold the water bag from the inside. They must go. Pay attention not to damage the cable next to the upper rivet. On the tension cable you've just taken out of the frame is a plastic guide. Unhook this and remove the guide. You'll need this again for the reinstallation. If everything's gone well, the edge should look like this. In the repair kit, there's a paper stencil. It's there to protect the top from the glue when you apply the new part. Fasten this with a piece of double-sided tape under the edge. Take the package with the two-part glue, remove the clip, and mix the glue. Now the glued area must be pressed together firmly. For these, clamp two wooden strips with vice grips on both sides of the textile strips you've just glued. The glue must now dry for 5 hours before you can assemble the top again. After a long break, you can get back to work on the top. The glue is now dry and must hold perfectly. You can remove the grips and the wooden strips. It should look like this if everything's gone correctly. You can't recognize that the water bag was glued to the top. Now the connection of the water bag and the top occurs in reverse order. But don't worry, we won't leave you yet. With so many assembly steps, we'll show you exactly how the top is fastened again. Now you can fasten the top to the rear window frame. Here are two elastic bands and they're fixed with a plastic rivet. Put the rivet through the elastic band and then from the back put the socket through the hole. Afterwards clip in the sharp part of the rivet at the front. Done. Now the frame can be let down again. Now the plastic rail can be pushed back in the flap. When you've pulled off the protective paper of the double-sided tape, you can attach the water bag to the rear window frame. Clip the tension cable in the frame again. The band through the plastic guide and then put both together through the wide hole in the frame. Pull the band all the way down and screw tightly. Now fasten the long textile strip. Take care to lead the strip behind the black tension cables. To attach, put the rivet in the strip in the hole. Then pull off the protective paper of the tape at the side of the frame and attach the flap of the top. Then comes the second strap. Fasten it with the same rivet as the textile strip. Now on the upper side you pull the loop again through the frame. There are, as you know, from the removal two small straps with holes. Now a rivet is placed in the hole which fastens it to the frame. Press it in with a plastic wedge so it sits correctly. On the frame for the rear window, there's a small flap that must be attached before you can reinstall the glass. Also use double-sided tape. with clean hands. Now the upper screws on the right side and left side of the frame are for the connection of the top liner, and you can tighten them.